want to add something, babe, because I said something like going off tangent, and I think you said no, we're not, because that's not what we were addressing at the time. But I put a note just to come back to it. I think it was about, because we were trying to figure out how old, how like her, I don't know. We're trying to figure out when, if she'd gone to uni, but the purpose wasn't that we're trying to see whether she'd gone to uni or had, gone to college or anything. It was more to try and say, I think you're trying to differentiate the difference between, women in the UK who are 21 and possibly women in Zambia who are 21.
Yeah.
But I think also it does bring quite a good point in a sense of women empowerment or us women being independent. And I think a lot of people, when you say women empowerment or when you say women being independent, it does bring a bit of a controversial topic, but because some people are like, well, women can do what men can do, and no, that's not the point where I'm getting to. Like, my point is, as women, we should be able to make sure that we are capable of looking after ourselves in this day and age, babe.
Yeah,
I know
that's true.
It's very. I'm trying to figure out how best to.
It's controversial. It's a controversial topic, and I know,
but it's
different sectors of in the Christian faith will have different debates on this. Because I feel like certain people will just be like, look, I'm of age and I can get married. And that's pretty much, I can be a housewife and everything like that. From the dynamics we come from, my aspect of just wisdom and just trying to say, like, just knowing where we come from. I think certain people will look at the aspect of Titus too. And where they'll say, oh, women stay at home, take care of your children, everything. But I think there's also a balance person.
I'm looking at Proverbs.
I think
31 woman.
You can be both of Proverbs 31 woman as well as also a Titus 2 woman. And I think this is a decision that I don't think is set in stone for people to basically say, I'll be one and I won't be the other. But we're also seeing that Proverbs 31 woman, she does so many things, but her main issue is she's her home.
Yes. But I think
she's also been empowered in the sense of just being entrepreneurial and everything
exactly
like
my
that.
point.
And
so my point is, it's not about, because there's not, I mean, being a housewife is hard work. It is hard work.
Yeah.
And going out to work is also hard work, right? But I think as women, as we are, getting married, I think education is very important for many reasons. Being a housewife does not mean that, if you say your ideal is, I want to get married, I want to be a housewife, so I don't need to go to uni, I don't need a job. I think you really need to have, like, you need, I don't know, you need to go to uni. No, not that you need to go to uni. You need to be able to look after yourself.
No, but
you need to be able to look after yourself because because different things in life happen and you don't know which part of one is. If you as a woman are working, you'll be helping your husband and you and your husband will decide how best to help. And fine, if you want to be a stay-at-home mom, but you've gone to university. So when something like this happens, it's easier for you to now start looking for work. Not now you're looking back and you're thinking, I just wasted 3 years of my life. Where am I? Alternatively, whilst you are at home, you are doing a bit of a side hustle, a little business here and there, setting aside a small amount of money for yourself. Because the different scenarios, your husband could lose his job. If your husband loses his job, there are many reasons. The company might be closed, the economy, he might have been fired, he doesn't want to work there anymore. You have a bit of income to be able to help yourselves. Secondly, other examples, your husband might be unwell and cannot work. So you will be there to help him. And the scenario that we don't like, your husband may not be here anymore. God might have called him early, but you have the ability to be able to help yourself and your children. Yeah. So it's really important that women, when they're getting married, your marriage should not be I want to get married because I can see that he provides for me. He gives me all the money. Like he has the car, he has everything. That's fine if he does provide financially, but that's the word I was looking for. Women should be able to be financially independent.
I agree with you.
To be able. Thank you, because I thought you were going to deny it, because I thought I wasn't trying to say it. Women should be able to be financially independent, and that does not mean that you're the head of the home.
No.
That does not mean you should now start using your money to. No, you should be able to be financial, and for me, I really think there's so many reasons why this is even so like important in this day and age, because we have men who behave like that now.
But I think I agree with you.
No, babe.
No. You're going too far there. You shouldn't basically now say because men are behaving this way, we have to be like that. No, that's not a situation that men should make you want to now say that you need to be financially independent. Ideally, when somebody is going into a relationship, it's not based on the aspect of always looking and saying, I have to protect myself just in case.
That's not my point.
Yeah, but your comment there where you said about because there's certain men who do that, that's why you need to be financially independent.
No. I'm saying not because of that.
Yeah.
But they are not because not for yourself, basically. Not because, I don't know what my husband might do, or you don't know what might happen. That's true. But it's not because because as I've said, I've given many different examples, right? And not all those examples are because the husband has been unfaithful to you. The examples where the husband has not been well enough to work, or your husband is no longer with you, or and with this economy, one salary is very hard these days to be enough for a household. Yeah. So there are many reasons why I think that's something that as women and young women aiming to get married should very much aspire to. And I don't think there's anything wrong I don't think, you don't have to be like, oh no, I have to. No, I think when you're in a relationship, all your money as a woman shouldn't just be because my husband is what's the word? You're just solely 100% dependent on your husband, that if your husband was not there and was unable to provide, you are now looking around thinking, what am I gonna do now?
I agree with you, but I disagree in the sense of basically saying that, look, Proverbs 31 and Titus 2, that's your choice. And we pray and trust that God will honor that choice in the best possible way. Each family, I think, should have their own dynamics, what works for them. We shouldn't impose Titus 2. We shouldn't impose Proverbs 31 on any family. This is a family decision.
Yes, I agree. I think we're on the same page, but both on different pages, because I don't think being a Titus 2 woman,
because a Titus 2 woman is basically
at home, right?
No, it's basically like what you're saying is a woman who basically says, I'm getting married. I'm only going to take care of the kids. My husband is going to basically take care of the finances and everything like that. That's okay.
No, that's okay, but that's not my point.
Yeah.
My point is, if you are on the side of you're a housewife 100% and you don't bring anything financially, you should still be financially smart. By that, I mean, if your husband is giving aside, will give you some money for I don't know, gives you 100 kwacha for this, gives you 100 pounds for this, you set aside 10 kwacha now, you put it aside for a rainy day. You don't I'm not saying you need to lie and hide money. No. You should also be financially smart. And that's just one example of how. But the other example is, you've just finished your GCSEs, you're 18, 19 and 20, and you have the opportunity to go to further education. And you have, you have to think about these things. You have to think about these things to say, let's say you've become unwell, right? And I've been at home the whole time.
Yeah.
Right. But now I need to look, but I'm not going to start from my GCSEs. I don't have to start from my GCSEs to now look for work. I can generally now just do my CV, it won't take me as much effort to go and find work. I think we're missing each other, because I don't know if what I'm trying to say is coming out. I think, because I feel like you're thinking I'm saying being a housewife, you shouldn't be a housewife.
No. I agree with you, and
I'm saying you should be. You can be a house. I want to be a housewife. I don't want to be going out there and working. But if the roles, if we need, I think we're a good example of what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Like I would, I'm happy staying at home.
No, but
if need be,
let me just put my point.
I can go out there and work.
Let me put I agree with that. And I'm saying that's a decision we've made in our household. There is nothing wrong for somebody who's just finished school and said, my desire for me is honorable. If that's her desire to get married, but no, that is your personal decision.
I don't know about that one.
We understand there has to be a level of caution, because we come and we give advice and say, look, these are the situations that you need to do A, B, C, D. There's nothing wrong with her basically saying, I'm of age and I want to get married. That is her personal decision.
No, there is nothing wrong with that. I agree with you, babe.
But there's an aspect of where we have to, especially the people who are marrying them, should give them a level of wisdom and basically tell them, look at these situations. Oh, even though you get married now, but also, and look, babe, school, you can always do school. You can, whenever you're married, you can go back to school, you can do A, B, C, D. Those things, we shouldn't basically...
No, I agree with you.
We shouldn't be able to now delay certain things that we feel are godly honoring, because we need to be able to be sustainable in a certain situation. For us, it works best for us. That's what I'm saying. Okay, the issue of Proverbs 31 woman, as well as Titus 2 woman, those are personal decisions on the person who's making that decision, as well as also households.
Okay.
Those are personal. We shouldn't impose those things.
I agree with what you're saying, babe. But I think I see where we disagree. Because I don't think there's anything wrong with an 18-year-old who says, I want to get married. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think I'm using this young girl's example as an example of saying, because now she's pregnant. You see, now she's pregnant and she has two mouths to feed. But if now you're in a situation, now you now have to go back and say, where did I leave me and my personality?
But Ruth, that's what I'm saying. It's not right. Because
what's not right?
The right aspect here is basically, it's not the aspect of because she's not thought about herself. We're saying the main issue here is her criteria of selecting a guy. If a guy who's honorable, loving God, who's decent, who's doing whatever, and she's able to commit herself to basically this man, there's no way of where you're committing, hoping that something is going to happen in the future. That is just not. It's not feasible. You can't go into a marriage where you're saying, if something happens, I have to protect myself.
No. The issue here is not protect. I need to be able to look after myself.
Yeah, let's say if something happens, I need to be able to look after myself. Nobody thinks that way, because you've made both a commitment to take care of each other. You've become one. Somebody has broken the commitment here. And this is why, like, sometimes when somebody breaks that commitment, and the other thing we actually see through the story, the guy, she's not feeding herself. The guy said he's going to help with child support. So
but that's the child. Okay.
There's an aspect.
I think we might need to agree to disagree, because I really still don't. I think you are very much thinking about your thinking is very ideal. It's very ideal in a situation where you have married a man or a woman who are Christians and live by the Christian values.
But we're coming from a Christian perspective. If we're giving advice, we have to give from a Christian perspective.
Okay. I think we need to come back to this topic, babe, because I am not satisfied. Nah. I gotta look after my girls. Like, no. We need to come back. I need to come back and find a way of saying what I'm trying to say. But I think I hope that my women know what I'm trying to say. Please, if you know what I'm trying to say, as women of God, please just put it in the comments, because I know what I'm trying to say and I know what my husband is saying. But I think maybe because I read too many of these stories or I hear too many of these stories, and some of these stories, babe, we've got to be honest, they come from people who have believe that they've married a Christian man or they've married a Christian woman, and things change. And I think society has so much has happened. Like, and I think we are living in a different world to how things were like 100 years ago. And I'm not saying, you know, you need to. And I think this is why I was trying to be careful to say no. Like, I'm not saying, you know, you can do better than a man. Like what you can do, I can do better than. Not that kind of, you know, I'm not trying to be a feminist. No, I'm trying to say that as women, we do need to look after ourselves. And I want women.
But you're saying that you're ideally saying that, look, I know you're basically saying you're not being a feminist and everything like that. And that's okay.
But I think I need to find a way to, I need to find a way to explain
but even
this.
Though, look, this is what I'm trying to say. As believers, I think you're being emotional about this.
Maybe I am being very emotional.
On this issue
I'm putting myself really into this
situation. But that's what I'm trying to say. Look, ideally, when we are giving advice, the advice on a biblical perspective, there's nothing wrong that she has done. And we also need to understand that God also honors the aspects of her doing the right thing. If she's done the right thing and somebody has done her wrong, we shouldn't take the aspect of that God is faithful enough to help this girl. It's not that because of her own power, of her own empowerment, that will make her better if a situation
that
like this
true.
Came in this situation.
That is very true, babe. What you're saying is very true. Mm-hmm. There's a but I agree with what you're saying. I do completely agree with what you're saying, that in this situation, I'm not going to look back and say, oh, you should have. No, it's saying, God, you know I'm here. You knew I was going to be here. And I know that you're my source and you're my guide.
Yeah.
But we can also learn from some of the experiences that our friends and families have gone through and be wise. I don't think wisdom is something that God, I think it's something that's good, that we can ask God to give us wisdom.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I think as women having the ability to, you know, to be financially independent, or maybe to be financially smart, or to know how to make money, to be, you know, to get yourself to a point where you're thinking, okay, my desire is to get married. And the thing is, sometimes you do desire to get married, but that marriage doesn't come until you're 40, or God decides when you get married, if you get married, right? So at some point, you've got to look after yourself.
I agree with that. But the issue here is we're not talking about that. The issue we're talking about is
when you're getting married.
No, what we should emphasize here is our criteria of valuing what a man should be. And like you were saying, like sometimes, we do the same things of we value this man and he turns out to be something else. That's something you have to wrestle with God. It's not.
And then when you find that out, let's say she found out that this man was, let's say in this scenario, he said, I'm really sorry, forgive me. I want to be with you. I'm going to leave the other woman and will be helping her.
Yeah.
Don't you think it's wise for this girl to now start thinking, okay, you know what? Based on this experience, I now need to also, because what would have happened if he had chose her? I now need to think of, how can I also help financially in the home? Whether I'm working, whether it's doing something I can be doing whilst I'm at home and I'm being a housewife, or whether it's something that I find a job outside.
No, our advice as believers should basically say, look, seek God's wisdom on what decision you need to make. Give certain options, but those options should not be saying things of saying, you see, now empower yourself or something like that. Ideally, yes, we agree. She should be able to find ways of what's this. There are two situations here. That's what I'm saying. Those two situations should not compete with one another. Titus 2 and Proverbs 31. The problem is that we try to compete with those. That's the argument, that we're trying to compete with those two situations. You can either choose what works for your household, and that's a personal issue for your household. I don't think it's wise for people to impose. If people want to basically, and I think lately, over the years, there's been a Titus 2 aspect of where people are saying, you need to do A, B, C, D. Women should be able to do all this and that and that and that. And I think that's okay. for them to basically say that. But if that works for their household, let them do that. And if that's the way they feel like God, they want to honor God, let them do that. But not impose it and saying, look, there is scripture that gives us and say, I want to be a Titus too. I am taking care of my house, but taking care of my house means I feel like I'm able-bodied to do all other things, be entrepreneurial, do this and that and that. And there's a space for both.
Yeah.
And because there's a space for both, let's be able to encourage both people in saying, look, the main thing whenever somebody is trying to make a decision to get married, don't focus so much on what that person will provide for you. Focus and say, how am I going to be a godly woman who honors God in every avenue that He's placed me? In avenue of being a mother, in avenue how I should take care of my home. If it comes to a point of where you've got an opportunity to also learn to be able to be financially savvy and try small businesses and everything like that to add to the pot in the home, that's okay. If it means that your time, because there's sometimes like, look, maybe you have a child with special needs, and that special needs child needs a lot of attention. You can't be financially stable. You cannot be financially savvy in that way, because most of the energy goes to the child.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be able to be cautious in the way we advise the certain things. There's nothing wrong that this woman has done. The person who's basically done the wrong is the husband. And the issue is now we have to say that, look, God help this woman. And if we can help, especially in those things, that's why I think believers as well as other people who are extended, help this woman become empowered in this situation. If that situation of a husband leaving her, help her to the best of our ability to help her. If it's babysitting, if it's doing whatever, that's why the body of Christ can help in various ways.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean because she made a decision of getting married early, then we basically neglect that help. No, it does. That's not the way we should behave.